Hi, I'm Brian Collin, and today's video is on intelligence. Remember that the best way to study is to take practice tests, and if you can't find good practice tests, build your own and learn while you do it using the Learn My Test study tool. It's absolutely free at learnmytest.com, and check out the link in the description. It's a link to a practice test that I made using the Learn My Test tool. What is intelligence? Experts suggest that it includes ability to learn, acquire new knowledge, problem solving, and creativity. Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence suggests that intelligence is comprised of three components: the analytical, which is the ability to recognize patterns and solve problems; practical, which is the ability to apply knowledge and skills to success in everyday life; and creativity, or the ability to find novel ways to complete tasks. In regard to creativity, divergent thinking is finding lots of different ways to solve a problem. For example, a therapist brainstorms of different ways to be there for her clients during the COVID-19 pandemic. Convergent thinking is incorporating all the data to come up with a single conclusion or correct answer. For example, solving a word problem in your math class and getting the correct answer would be an example of convergent thinking. Spearman argued that there is one overall estimate of intelligence or ability called G, or the G factor, that was made up of S factors, which are abilities in specific skills or tasks. For example, ability in creative writing could be an S factor. Mathematics, basketball, and painting could all be S factors that contribute to G. Howard Gardner argued that there were 8 types of intelligences, which included visual spatial, or the ability to recognize patterns with visual information; bodily kinesthetic, or someone that is skilled in sports or in athletic; musical, someone who is a talented musician; and natural, someone who enjoys being outdoors or is in tune with the environment. Verbal linguistic may be someone who is skilled in learning, interpreting language, and enjoys reading. And logical mathematical would be good at analyzing patterns and good with mathematics, numbers, and statistics. Interpersonal intelligence is someone that understands feelings, wants, and needs of others. And intrapersonal is people that are high in their ability to understand themselves, what their wants and needs are, and how they fit into the world. Crystallized intelligence is the ability to acquire verbal knowledge and skills. The idea of fluid intelligence was proposed by Cattell, Horn, and Carroll, which is the ability to reason, recognize patterns, and solve problems. Processing speed is how fast your brain processes information. Sensory processing is the ability to accurately process visual and sensory information. Cattell, Horn, and Carroll argued that G, or general intelligence, is partially made up of fluid intelligence, sensory motor ability, crystallized intelligence, and processing speed. One of the most popular intelligence tests is the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. The test includes 4 index scores that include 2 to 3 subtests each. The Verbal Comprehension Index includes similarities, where the examinee is asked to identify conceptual similarities between 2 terms. Vocabulary is when an individual is asked to correctly define a list of words, and information asks general knowledge information, types of trivia questions that people are expected to learn in a typical United States education. The verbal comprehension is least likely to be affected by organic brain dysfunction, such as Alzheimer's disease or dementia, and can underestimate the ability of cultural minorities, especially immigrants who English isn't their first language, or people that did not grow up in the United States. The Perceptual Reasoning Index includes 3 subtests, which are the block design, where the examinee assembles a design using some blocks; matrix reasoning, where the subject identifies the missing piece of a puzzle; and visual puzzles, where they recognize the pieces in a puzzle that has been put together. Working memory includes digit span, where the examinee is asked to repeat numbers forward, backward, and in order from smallest to largest, and arithmetic asks the examinee to solve math problems in their head. Processing speed index includes symbol search, where the examinee is asked to identify as many matching symbols on a page until time expires, and the coding subtest tasks the examinee with drawing symbols that match with a number, as many as they can until time expires. All four of these indices combine together to form a full-scale intellectual quotient, or G, which is a general estimate of intellectual ability. The Stanford-Binet was the first intelligence test created and formed by what is known as the intelligence quotient, or IQ, which is an estimate of an individual's general ability, or G. The test proposed that IQ was calculated by taking a person's mental age and dividing it by their chronological age multiplied by 100. So if your mental age is 12 and you're 10 years old, you would have an intelligence quotient, or IQ, of 120. You may be thinking, but wait, how do you get someone's mental age? So the first step is that you administer the test to the examinee and then get their scores. So you administer the WAIS or the Stanford-Binet to the examinee, and then you get what's called their raw scores. Let's just say Bob was administered the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. He would get his raw scores, which would be the total number of points that he earned on each subtest, which is usually based on the amount of correct responses he received. Bob's raw scores are then converted to a standard score, which is done by comparing his score to other people in his age group. That is how mental age is calculated. On the WAIS-IV, 100 is considered average, and scores of 70 or lower are considered in the impaired range. So it looks like from Bob's profile here that Bob has lower scores in working memory and in the impaired range in processing speed, although Bob's scores look pretty average and higher average in perceptual reasoning and average in verbal comprehension. So Bob's profile would be consistent with a profile for somebody with high functioning ADHD, given that individuals with ADHD often struggle on processing speed tasks. Intelligence tests like the WAIS are helpful in diagnosing learning disabilities and intellectual disabilities, as well as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and determining cognitive functioning in cases with brain injuries. In the description, check out the practice tests I made using the Learn My Test study tool. Please click the like and subscribe button to stay up to date on our most recent videos. Ciccarelli and White text Psychology and Exploration 4th edition was used to make this video.